All right, the voodoo that you do. Here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So, I'm going to speak on something else, but it may be related to something that just happened or may not be because when I'm dealing with a bank and I'm being attacked, whether it be hackers, law enforcement, private sector, intelligence, foreign, domestic, whatever it is, I connect in and then I receive information psychically. So again, that was the inference that the banks are part of the structure that is allowing the narcotics distribution, empowering it and allowing it. So it kind of makes sense. And I'm not going to say it's every police officer that ever went to a bank job, but we know only certain police officers get those, police officers, federal agents, intelligence people, security, whoever they are. Only certain people get those positions because they're highly coveted. So the reality might be at this point that that's how they make the transition from the departments and the agencies into the private sector. And meanwhile, the DEA is calling up thinking they're getting all the right information and they're getting BS on certain people. Again, I'm not saying it's every single case that you're working or every single officer. Now, is it the bank president? Well, the bank president might be president because he doesn't check that out. He doesn't want to look at that. He doesn't want to know, or she doesn't want to know. I mean, Trump's so full of it. He didn't help the DEA out, but he's going to get back in there and he's going to do it. But do it this time. I think they all know that the majority of them they're not going to get any protection or help from Trump. If you decide that you want to violate the law for Trump, then you're pretty much on your own. Now, it'd be interesting to find out where that 1.5 million came from. Now, here's the kicker. Whoa, it's just mom and pa kettle. All right, mom and pa Larry don't exist. So again, mom and pa kettle might do something for an internet thing or something that calls them on the phone and it's a wrong number. And every time it calls, they send money to Trump and they get money back. But the thing that's giving them money is from Russia or some other place. Because you're not living a life unless you're a jerk or they haven't got to you yet. When I mean jerk, I mean a devil jerk. So again, just because it's everyday Americans doesn't mean that something sends them 10 grand in their stock market, or they go to the casinos or online casinos, whatever it is, whatever can be manipulated and hacked. Obviously, everything can be hacked. Obviously, intelligence officers and law enforcement can hack just about anything, and that's globally. So, I told you years ago, it was prescription drugs I started with, but you all took an offense to that and attacked me. I mean, I told you I was going to take out the prescription drugs after you did that to my ex-wife. I didn't start with you. You started with me. And then because I took out the pill mills, you're all upset. Well, then you'll all go, including the cops that work with you. So we need to look at that. But okay, back to the social workers. It benefits everyone. And again, we're not looking to arrest people to hurt them. I mean, there are people that do that. Again, they're just arresting the narcotics distributors that aren't on the kickback list. Make it look good. But what we really want to do is we want to get a handle on all these narcotics. We want to get all the people that we can that are using. Obviously, some won't. Trank people. How are you going to get them into anything? How do we get them over to the no harm place? You have to, like, EMS is going to have to transport them over to the no harm facility. And it's not a joke, and I'm making light of it because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. If you're real, if you're not real, and you don't care, of course. So the idea is the cops can't speak about it. They're not allowed to. They'll lose their, job because somebody will take them out because they're a liberal or whatever it is they'll say about them. But yeah, the whole thing is that we get a handle on where the majority of our addicted people are. And again, to let you know, it's metaphysical. If we all were to heal it and really care about it, it would go away. But people use it to make money in all sorts of ways. Even some people make money fighting it, so they don't want it to go away. Because they make political power and money fighting it. So we get these no harm places. Well, it's a combination of two programs, actually. No harm and residence, getting somebody in some sort of residence. So we have all these addicted people, and traditionally it's like, you're out of here, you're using drugs. But now we can't do that. It's not helping us. So what we got to do is get somewhere where we have facilities that have we need tons of social workers. We need to open up all sorts of free programs into social work. And it's not liberal. I mean, this is really what the scriptures are about and where the rubber meets the road with the scriptures. So again, it should be something conservative. It's kind of weird where they go. They speak about Republican Jesus. So again, we're trying to get away from Republican Jesus. I had one earlier today. I don't think I posted it. It was rather funny. I didn't write it down, but it's another Republican Jesus joke. I don't have much gas, so I'm gonna have to gas up soon. I was hacked earlier trying to do something with a bank, so I was connected in and couldn't get anywhere. I hacked it. I tried. My account would have opened if it wouldn't have been hacked. Now I have to go over to the bank. What they did is they flipped the address around, so I had to go back out and go back in, and then it wouldn't let. And then they had it hacked so well after that. Or I made a phone call, so that is always a possibility. But it's not because, like I said, I connect in. So again, the best thing is that I don't connect in. If you don't want me in, then don't mess around with my life. So these social workers, we need to have those youth programs, those youth training programs, and all the free money available to get people into social work. And the key is, again, officers know the key. Again, that's how they kill other officers. They know the keys. The key is not to burn out, and there's certain ways to not burn out. Sometimes it's just pull up behind a building for about 2 hours. Sometimes, I mean, just sometimes officers have to do that, and that kind of helps them de-stress. Again, I'm not telling you every officer's honest. I'm not telling you every officer's crooked. They are who they are, but there are realities. So we hire these social workers, and some of them are going to have to work in these no harm residences. And it's going to be very difficult. So the selection process, you need to find people that really want to do it. And again, if you're in, just like corrections, a lot of people don't like being correctional officers, but if you study corrections, like just even in your own mind, like, okay, what's going on here? How do I get from point A to point B? It's very intriguing. It's a very interesting field of study, and it involves helping people in reality. You help people to help yourself. That's the best way to be a correctional officer. And again, if you're going to run into people you're going to have to jump on and tussle with, that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that you give up the ship. I think sometimes that they pretty much have given up the ship. Hello, is this loud enough? I guess it is. I don't know. It seems like it's too low at a certain point. So we get the social workers, and we get them to work in these no harm places. We get them to patrol. The idea is, it's not going to do us any good. I mean, it'll do us some good, but like I made fun of Florida. They patrol with police officers all day. Even a police officer's got to be like, It's just like the community officers. They're out there trying to do their thing. They got to be out there trying to do their thing. But I do agree, and we get again there's people that think with me, on all of this, and I did receive, and I projected and received, and we communicated. And the idea we came up with is we could also have two types of social worker: one that works with the police officers, another one that patrols on their own. So again, maybe different qualifications. I don't know. Well, it's going to be very different. Different. It's going to be like community relations. I mean, it's going to have all the other stuff we want them to do, but they're going to be out there learning everybody, and everybody's going to be learning them. So they'll be in the schools. They'll be going to houses. They'll be with EMS. So essentially, it's almost like a social worker EMS. That's pretty much what it's going to be. And you have to be kind of a jack of all social work trades to get it done. But what's going to happen is they're going to be part of that no harm residency thing. Because again, this is our big issue. Everybody wants to speak about all sorts of things, but our biggest issue is that people are in certain locations, and it's just a dangerous location for them to be in. Trying to see what the popo is doing back there. It looks like they have an accident or something. I got to get over to this gas station. I'm almost out of gas. I was supposed to go pick up some furniture from FedEx today, but it didn't happen, so I didn't get my gas. I'll get back around over here. Actually, my mileage meter did come up. I got a little bit of. I hate when it does that. Hey, look, the fire truck followed me. Are you stalking me with fire trucks? That's pretty evil if you are. Ambulances and fire trucks. I turned down the road I turned down. Now they turn the lights on. It's kind of weird. I'd like to see what happened. I'd like to see if it's weird, if it's actually a real call. No, I'm not going to sit here and see if, I want to know. Because there's people out there who want to know if you're using EMS to stalk me. Walking over to somewhere. Uh, Checking a door. Oh, they're going in. Okay. That's weird, though. See, that's Satan. He did stalk him with the other one, though. See, that's what they do. They will it to be confused. And then Satan picks up for them. That's why you can't stop the drugs. There's so many devils that are involved. But there's people. In other words, you have to do physical things for Satan to power you like that. You have to be a physical devil. Oh, he followed me in. The road I turned around is one. I mean, it's a very short road. It isn't like it's a road. It's a cul-de-sac. I get my gas up the. So that's the hardest thing is when they're doing their spycraft, they also have witchcraft. So Satan will mimic them and then confuse you. So we're trying to get these no harm facilities on. Is my volume up? Hey, oh, yeah, there it is. It's just there's a lag on the meter, so I'm not sure. So we want to get the no harm facilities up. We want the social workers to be on the street, and we want them to get these people that are addicted into the no harm facility. Again, there's a lot that I saw when I woke up, and a lot couldn't happen because I was being killed. But every organization I ever went to, especially early on, there was a future that God wanted. By the time I got to the Sikhs in Espanola, I was kind of, jaded, I guess. But actually, it's not jaded. I was realistic that nobody really wants to do anything. And I had to do it on my own. And I had been driving around healing people for years, but it was supposed to be an international effort. We were supposed to bring all our clergy together, and they were supposed to have the faith to fly around the world just healing places. Now, you don't just sit in a building and pray. That doesn't work. That's not how Jesus did it. And again, there's others in the other faiths also. So, but the idea is this. We were going to build like dining facilities. Again, it was a big, long thing that God had laid out to beat the homeless. Again, the homelessness came a few years later, and they used some of my stuff, the tent cities and all of that. I don't know if they heard it direct from me, someone else, or from the head or whatever it was. So we have to, I'm trying to think about where I'm at here. All right. We have to get them off the street. And, this idea where you lock them up and all that, that comes from losers. Oh, no. I went too far. I have to go to the highway. How much gas? I got fine. I have to go to the highway now and turn around. I actually just came out to get paper towels, but since they hacked my bank thing, I'm going to broadcast. So you need to dock your operator's pay. So what we're going to do is we're going to lighten the load on the officers by having other people helping. And one of the biggest helps that we can have is that we have a rapport with people that are addicted. Now, there's something about the people that are addicted and the homeless people. Some of them have been operated into homelessness and addiction. Somebody is out there taking them down and making that their life. Physically, spycraft. It's happening. But there's something they all need, and that's socialization. We need to re-socialize them. You can't just put them through the grist mill and expect them to come out the other side the way you 6C. I'm at exit 6C. Billie Holiday, doctor. Got a cue from Billie Holiday. Doctor who? No, I'm not a doctor. Is that Billie Holiday asking me that? Yeah, she connects in every so often. If I think about her. Billie Holiday just said, well, you need to be one. I'm spinning around here trying to get myself somewhere. In Cloverleaf City. Uh-oh. That's not, what is that? I guess it's so people don't they fall asleep, wake up around the turn. I don't know. There's a black, what do they call that? The side of the road. What do they call that? I can't remember what they call it. Black asphalt. I can't. You ever lose a word? This little strip on the side of the road. We know where the rumble strip is. It has like a little curb on it, and I'm like thinking, why is that there? Oh, I'm not sure which way this goes. Exits A and B. I guess maybe this is both ways. Okay, so I think this is the one I took last time. So when we get to this, we're going to lighten the load on the officers because once we get addicted people re-socialized and we have people that connect with them and they have a known housing location where honestly, they can use. We don't want them. Again, if you go back when I was ripping into AOC about something, because I guess she was getting a little too weak on narcotics enforcement. Something was going to affect narcotics enforcement. Right? I took there was a video of her district, and where they go to use, and they're down like in this ravine. It's just not. It just doesn't work. You as an officer, that's horrible. What the Republicans want you to do is to say that you don't need any help with that other than locking people up, and that doesn't work. So what we want to do is we want to pull them out of the ravine, and if you've ever been around people that are homeless, people that are um, using, and they go through kind of a rehab. There's Mrs. J and Mr. R, and that kind of thing. So we want to once we get that into the housing network. So we almost got you want to have something like a shelter, but not a shelter. Again, the shelter is not going to work because it's not really going to help them heal of what the issue is. The cattle mentality. We got to get them out of the cattle mentality. However, once we get that working, I'm not going to tell you every single person with a mental illness and every single person with narcotics distribution, narcotics use or distribution or whatever it is going to go to this place and they're all going to hang together and, it's going to be Shangri-La. But the idea is the officer doesn't have to go through some place where there's, shards of glass and hypodermic needles out in the open. You see, that's one of the things we're looking at doing with no harm program is giving them a place where they throw it away where there's, like a sharps container. And there's somebody supervising and says, yes, please put that in the sharps container, Mr. and Mrs. Trank. This is like, it's such a step backwards. It's horrible. It looks like it's chemical warfare. It doesn't look like it's by accident. It looks like it's being done to fight our Narcan program. That could be conservatives. They would they just get rid of them. They consider people trash for disposal. So again, there's many conservatives that would think that's a good idea, putting something out there that kills people and that Narcan won't work with. I think it was like an urgent care or something that they were picking somebody up. But that was weird. What's the next thing on that? I'm trying to think. Okay, the patrolling. So what happens is when they introduce themselves to the community, uh, again, Mrs. R, Mr. T, whatever their name's going to be, uh, we develop that rapport. Uh, an officer with a uniform comes in. Again, we might want to have uniformed ones and then non-uniform because uniform can mess things up. Even detectives, when you interview, investigators interview, a uniform can mess it up. So again, it just people have been abused, and it by their actions or the actions of another, whatever it is, uh, the uniform has negative connotations. So we want social workers out there. I mean, it's not social workers. Again, this is a whole new science that needs to be developed. Again, it's a combination of an investigator and a social worker. And I think we do have like some of the victim witness people might have some of those skills. And then, of course, the what are they? Community people, the community relations people. So they have to go out there, and they'll figure out things as far as where our trouble spots are, and what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. They'll offer, as strange as it sounds, they'll be offering clean needles and things like that. But that's our issue, and we need to work with it. Again, the housing issue is the big one. We want people to have space, their own space. Again, sometimes they put two people to a room. Not everybody can even be one person or two people or five people to a room. Obviously, some people, other things have to be done to help them. But the idea is that we triage it with the least traumatic experience possible. Again, Missouri approach. When I arrived here, I didn't even make the connection. Again, I'm not in Missouri, but I'm probably like what 5-10 miles or something like that. So again, the Missouri approach is being knocked out because people hate that kind of stuff. They hate to help people. They want people to be treated violently and killed and harmed and shot and all those things. So we need to keep that up. So everything in the Missouri approach works for every one of the programs that we're looking at. What time? Oh, I got to get in here. All right. Stay peaceful. Praise God and all that you